Hi, Teacher Mindy here. Today I want to talk to you about Outschool. Here are 10 things that I wish I would have known or been trained on before starting with Outschool. One is, yes, you can make so much more money with Outschool. It's a very lucrative position compared to the online ESL position, but it takes more time. So you're making more money per teaching hour, but you're spending a lot of time and possibly even money creating classes and gathering materials. But you get to teach something that you're passionate about and you love about instead of teaching a standard curriculum. So that's the pros and cons of that one. Number 2, when the students register and you see that you have a full class, and for me, for the younger students, it's only 6 in a class, but you're thinking, wow, I can make some good money. I can make $42 for an hour class or 45-minute class. Then you go to teach and you only have 3 or 4 of the students instead of the 6 because 2 have asked to be switched to a different class or have dropped out. So my advice there is don't count your eggs before they have hatched because sometimes they don't hatch. So just keep that in mind. When you see the students enrolled and it's awesome that you get a full class, just know some of them like to switch it around and change at the last minute. Number 3, I personally enjoy the smaller groups. So on VIP Kid, you teach one-on-one, which is awesome. But with Outschool, you are teaching as many students as you want. There are guidelines and recommendations. So for the younger students, which I do a lot of, you can have up to 6 in a class. Personally, 6 is a lot for one class of little kids. I love having the smaller groups. So if I have 3 in a class, 4, 5, whatever, I just spend time getting to know them and really building a relationship with them. And it's so much more fun to really get to know them. And I feel the more of a relationship I'm building and getting to know my students, the more they're going to be rebooking with me for future classes. So I personally forego making $70 to $100 per class because I really like having the smaller groups and I like building that bond with my students. The number 4, I love teaching the younger children, and I really love teaching fun classes like a craft class or reading them a story versus the hardcore academic classes. Luckily this summer, the students also are wanting the fun classes more than the academic classes. So I have no idea what fall is going to bring, if I will be successfully booked or not. But it's just been really fun to teach students how to paint kindness rocks or have a tea party with them. Those kinds of classes I find are very fun and very enjoyable for me. Okay, so the next thing is number 5. When you have multiple Outschool classes in one day, it makes sense to book and to schedule the classes that are similar back to back. So for example, if you have 2 tea party classes, it makes more sense to have a tea party class, and then a painting class versus tea party, get all set up for the tea party, then switch and get all set up for painting, and then switch and get all set up for tea party again. Believe me, I made that mistake this week where it seemed like I was setting up, taking down, setting up multiple times, where if I would have just booked my tea parties back to back, I wouldn't have had to have so much set up and take down. So that's something to think about when you're thinking about how much hourly you're making, because you do need time in between to set up and take down. The other thing is I like to give my students like a little freebie. So I give them some free coloring sheets when I send them a little thank you note for taking the class, just to include some little freebie that they didn't expect it. A little extra gift, a freebie gift is nice. So I've been doing that. If you're reading a story to the students online, you can also go to the publisher or the author's website, and they often have links to some freebie color sheets that you can download. So just a little idea. And then number 7, I always send a thank you note at the end of the class. So that kind of goes along with my freebie. I send the thank you note and I attach my little freebie. Number 8, I think I mentioned this in another video, but you need to really allow plenty of time before class starts. You need to set up for your class. Get everything all set up, laid out, ready to go, so you can just pick things up and boom, you're teaching. B, open the screen shared documents. If you're going to be showing documents in class, you need to get those open so that when you get into class, they're ready to go, because you can't go back and open them once you're already in the classroom. C, I check my email messages, because at the last minute, students will request to be transferred to another class. So you don't want to be sitting there waiting for more students to join in if they're not coming. It's a great idea to check your email and see if somebody is not coming, if they sent you a message saying they're not coming. And then D, of course, go to the bathroom. E, and get a cup of water, because you're not allowed to leave the students in the classroom without you being there and attending them, because you're not sure what could happen. So you're not going to run to go to the bathroom in the middle of your class. So you want to take care of all that before class starts. Now, 9 is your timing. So it's hard to tell how long an online class is going to take. That's a very difficult thing to judge. So what I've done is I've read the book aloud if I'm doing a read aloud and time it. And then I kind of estimate how long this activity will take, this activity will take, etc. And then I always have a little extra activity up my sleeve in case I need it. If the class goes really fast, if I only have one learner enroll, the class might go faster. So I always have a little something extra that I can pull out and we can do quick and extend the time, because you don't want to end class early. If you go over, as long as they're not rushing out the door to go to an activity or something, if you go over, I'm sure the parents don't mind as long as you ask. But if you end early, they're going to mind, because they paid all that money for your class. They want to get their full amount in there. And then number 10, lesson planning in clusters. So what I mean by that is if you plan on doing tea parties, then you're going to want to plan a few different tea party books. So the kids who really like tea parties, they can have a tea party. And then when you're done having the tea party, you can say, hey, don't forget, I also have this other tea party listed if you're interested in another one. Or I also have this rock painting class if you're interested in another craft kind of class. So I would cluster your types of classes together when you're planning, so that you always have something to recommend at the end of class or in your thank you note to the learners for taking the next class. And that's all I have for today. Just 10 tips of what I wished I would have known before starting with Outschool. But so far, Outschool's going great. I love it, and I love the little students that I have, and I can't wait to teach more. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up. Bye.